then maybe a fight happens or something happens and we kind of take some steps backwards. So
I am a little worried there's going to come a breaking point.
We're not fighting.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are giving you guys a review on Married at First Sight, dealing with Erik and Viriginia. Yes, Erik's controlling behavior and hypocrisy is starting to stink. And so we want to break some stuff down for you guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the what? Uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, well, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Yes, stay hydrated. All right, let's get into the particular discussion. I think with Erik and Viriginia, we're at a crucial point now where I know they're probably going to end up probably saying yes on decision day, but whether this is a long-term relationship is yet to be seen, because watching their behaviors, I'm starting to see Erik a little bit more in a more darker light. I have been for the last few weeks, but I think we're seeing it even more now. There's a hypocrisy to his calling out of Viriginia for her behavior, but doesn't seem to be able to understand his own. There's a lack of self-awareness and emotional intelligence when it comes to being aware of his own behavior and how that contributes towards the detriment of this particular relationship. In fact, this particular scene we're watching, this is where they discuss who's going to cause an argument later on down the line. Let's have a little look at it.
It's not going to be because of me. I can tell you that right now. Because I just won't allow it on my end.
So now he says, obviously, it's not going to be me. I won't allow it because Viriginia obviously earlier on said, obviously, about how, I think we're going to probably destroy each other when we're there. And he's like, I won't allow it. Now, if you guys have watched the episode, you already know what happens in the episode. It was later on, he called her out for, I've been patient with you, The issue with the housing situation and the cats, he says that out in public as well. And so you're thinking to yourself, okay, bro, you're talking about how, Virginia's going to be causing an argument, but you yourself, obviously, at the same time, are contributing towards this factor. It's not just her. She didn't argue on her own. You are causing a major, major situation to happen each individual time you decide to open your mouth in a certain way. And so I think we've seen it in the last few weeks as well with discussions with Dr. Pepper and Dr. Cow when they're together, the way that he throws underneath the bus. He does this thing where he separates himself from her as if he's the better individual in the relationship. Now, don't get it twisted. I know Virginia's a bit of a drunkard, but that's got no bearing on him trying to separate himself to make himself better than Viriginia when it comes to the experts, or when even now in this particular episode in front of the gang, you hear him say, obviously, I've been so patient with her. And you know it. I've been patient. I've been patient. And he's outed her in front of everybody else. Had Viriginia not been so strong and independent, this could have been a really controlling situation. Really controlling. I have no doubt that Viriginia, like I said, has her own issues that she deals with, and that causes his triggers. But in this particular instance, if she had been a good, nice, almost naive girl that was married to him, he would have torn her a new arsehole, because the energy that he brought to the table amongst the group, where he outed her for not being outed her for obviously some of her behaviors. He didn't actually say what it were, but he outed it to the group unnecessarily, because that's not what the question was. Then you see how this can easily play into a manipulation tactic, and how that can lead into control, and how that can actually as well really affect the confidence of the partner that you're with. You don't do this to a partner. Look, one of the things you do, as the Bible says, love covers a multitude of sins. You cover each other. You don't just then open up the gates and just say whatever you want to say. You have to cover one another. Unless you're in a counseling session, you keep things to yourself. I'm not saying you can't tell people what's going on in your marriage or what's going on with you. What I'm saying is there are certain things that unless you've discussed it with your partner, you shouldn't be bringing it out to out them with it. It causes issues. That's a public embarrassment. You understand? And that can cause so much emotional turmoil for your partner, and how they look at you now, and how they trust you with confidence information about their relationship with yourself and them, right?
You're the one that would get annoyed with me. Yeah, not me. I can still complain a little bit maybe, but
I don't know if you've noticed as well, her body language as well. The way when he's obviously, it will be, I can complain a little bit, etc., etc. Again, he's put himself in a high and mighty. He's been doing it for the past few weeks. I mean, if you look at the way he says, I've been married before, there is an air of pride a very much air of pride in a way that he looks at himself in comparison to her. There's this arrogance that comes through, and maybe that was what partly also came through on his relationship, the last one. But there's no need for this level of arrogance, bro, because you're in your second marriage. There should be a humility there. There should have, what did you learn from that last marriage? Because what we're seeing right now is, I've been married, I know what I'm talking about, but we're not seeing the compromises, we're not seeing the behaviors, we're not seeing really good modeled behaviors of what somebody who's gone for a marriage previously and has actually understood and learned some key skills. We're not seeing that from him. So all the chat about I've been married before is out the window. Okay? It's out the window. Okay? And if you see her body language, she's beginning to like, look.
Mad at me like 5 times today.
No, I haven't. I honestly don't like that you say that.
Oh, it started. She said, obviously, you've been angry at me like 5 times today. She didn't say anything crazy. Nothing crazy on the camera. You've been angry at me 5 times today. Okay, cool. Like you just, and see, the thing is, he just threw a shot saying it will be you that will cause an argument. You just threw a shot. Now she's saying, but you've been angry at me for the last 5, been angry at me 5 times today already. You're saying you don't like that? So you want to throw punches and you want to throw a verbal tirades and attacks on your partner. When they then reply, you say, oh, don't do that to me. It's on camera. That is controlling. That in itself is scary, because that means you can do stuff and they can't. That becomes abusive, right? That becomes abusive. You have just said a minute ago she's likely to want to cause an argument, etc., etc. And now when she says that you have been angry the last 5 times, you get vexed to a point where you want to control and say, "Oh, you're out on me on camera, basically," and I don't like that. Listen to what he's going to say next, and you'll see what I'm saying.
I'm just telling you how I feel.
Yeah, I don't like when you go into get on to me in front of cameras.
Now she just said, obviously, I just let you know how I feel. Did you not just let her know how you felt? And then he's flipped it now. So the gaslighting, he's going to flip it and project it. I don't like when you get onto me when I'm on the camera. No, you might not do, but you don't have to get back on. You don't have to go on your partner either, right? If you're willing to give it and dish it, be prepared to take it. If you're willing to give it and to dish it, be prepared to receive. And I think what's happening with him is that, if it doesn't fit how he sees it to be, he starts throwing toys at the pram. When he doesn't see it as it needs to be, he starts getting a little bit angst and annoyed and frustrated. And I think, him and Chris aren't too dissimilar, because there are methods of control that they use in order to get their way. And so for me, it's getting a bit to a place where it's not productive anymore, the relationship, because we're starting to see particular behaviors that are not healthy. If you watch her body language, she's starting to it's almost as if like she's starting to shut down a little bit. She's a bit more quieter. I'm not, what I'm saying? Like there's a fight that's going to happen, which is there's a fight for your independence here. There's a fight for your voice. There's a fight for your power. There's a fight for your equality within the relationship. And so, or at least equity, some fair equity where you can actually voice your opinion, say how you feel, and that doesn't get used against you. And also as well, you don't get trampled upon. That's quintessential. That's important. That's needed in any relationship. I've got to feel comfortable to express how I feel to you. When you start making me uncomfortable about expressing how I feel to you, bear in mind, within reason, I'm not cussing you, but I'm just saying how I feel, and you start to shut me down, then you've already started the program of trying to control this relationship to a T and a point. And that is healthy for nobody. Nobody wants to be in that nobody should want to be in that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Look at her head down. I didn't want to get onto you.
Yeah, you did.
Like a little naughty kid.
You did a lot.
She's not agreeing.
I don't do that to you.
And he's like, she's getting onto me a lot. I don't do that to you. Bro, do I have to put up the receipts? This episode alone, do I have to pull up the receipts? Let me know, Erik. Do I have to pull up the receipts? Because what you're doing right now, okay, is flipping it onto her as if she's the bad one. When you start the conversation. And you can see by the body language on her now, frustration. Why? I don't know if you've ever had someone who always dismisses what they do and throws away any responsibility of what they contribute towards the demise of a relationship, that they're always right. That person's got so much pride, but it also affects you, because now you start looking at yourself like, what am I doing wrong? And the moment you begin to question yourself about what you're doing wrong is the moment that you start to spiral. Because at that moment, when you start to question yourself, you will try to do anything to make sure that you're doing what you can in your power to make it work. And that's what they want. That's what an abuser wants. I'm not saying he's an abuser, but I'm just kind of opening out. That's what an abuser who doesn't care about you or the relationship wants. They want to break you to the point where you become performative and not graceful. Performative means I do things to receive things. And in that measure, that's not actually how love really works. There's a moment, there's an appeasement of grace in there, which is unmerited, undeserved kind of love from another person simply because of just being. That's love. But when it becomes performative, it becomes about how can I do this to make sure you do this? It's almost people pleasing. It's performative, right? And so when they want to get you to a low sunken place, they push you into performative. So they push you into thinking I can contribute to change what's happening. If I just do this, they will change. If I just do this, they'll change. But the truth of the matter is they won't. They'll do the exact same thing as they were before.
Good talk.
I mean, they always have arguments. So, look, I don't think it's anything new. They are going to argue for the rest of their lives if they stay together, unless something really, something really big interjects and gives them another direction in terms of how to handle their affairs. But I want to quickly push it to their particular dinner scene with the group because, like he just said, right? He just said, "Oh, me, I never out you." I never said anything against you, etc., etc. Right? So I want to bring out something so we can get there for you guys. Okay, cool. Let's get there. Okay, let's get there. Okay, this is Virginia, and this is where she begins to explain what has she learned. Okay, what has she learned about the scenario? What she learned about the situation? What she learned about the relationship? What has she learned? And she explains it very, very clearly. Let's listen to her 10 seconds.
Even on the hard days, even when you don't always like them. So that's definitely what I've learned.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, for me, I've had to be so patient with this one.
He started already. See, but me, I've had to be very patient. Now, at first, when it looks like it, when you hear it, it's banter, right? Like same way you might say to your partner, "Oh, I've had to struggle with this one right here, I tell you," right? But the next few words are very important to actually let you know how deep or how or what direction a person's going in with what they're about to say about you, right? So you might say, "Whew, it's been a tough one with this one. I tell you, we've had some battles we have. But you know what? I love her for it. Right? But look what he's about to do. Because remember, again, the outing is about control. Every time I out you to other people, it lets you know your behavior is bad. It's a reinforcement of your behavior that's bad. It's confirmational bias, your behavior being bad. Now you're going to start thinking, am I really bad? Because that's what he's trying to go for, right? And then he's making himself look like he's amazing and great. Let's listen.
You know that. What?
Thanks. Okay, I'm kidding.
And you know what I'm talking about. So.
And so he says, obviously, you know what I'm talking about. And again, the whole table was a bit awkward. And it's like, wow, because he didn't follow up with anything like, but I'm playing. It's been amazing. I've loved it. Da, da, da. He didn't follow up with that. He said, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Why are you out in that kind of business then to the table when you didn't like it when you're being outed to the camera? That's my hypocrisy I don't like with Erik right now. He's always willing to out her, say it's your problem. It's not a me problem. It's you that's the problem. But when it comes to him and being able to assess what he's done, he's unable to do that. He's unable to look beyond what he has done. He only sees what Virginia does and stops looking at his own. There's a lack of self-awareness. There's a lack of introspective work being done by Erik every single time. And it's frustrating to watch because we know where it's going to. I don't think you'll ever lay hands on her, but definitely will be an emotional controlling person. And and obviously with Virginia as well, because she's so strong at this moment, if she breaks at any moment, she's finished. So I'm not saying again that I agree with her behavior in terms of the cats and the moving in. I don't. But I do understand that his behaviors towards her, if it had been another girl, would have been very problematic. In fact, we'd have a completely different conversation. We would say he's controlling, right? We'd say that.
So, I mean, it's just, we've just gone through different childhoods. And so, yeah, it's hard to have my mentality and the way I think and how I react to things and how I need.
So again, he's explaining to the group, it's very difficult because of the way that I think, the way I feel, the way I move, the way, I process certain things, and so it's been a tough one. But again, there is no encouragement in terms of what he's actually learned. So remember, when you set a tone for the start of something, the way that you speak in between it also helps people to understand what you meant by that opening statement. If you make a jokey statement that's a little bit ooh, and you follow up with a concession of encouragement and positivity, people take that first comment as, oh, okay, cool, it was great. But if you add negativity to it, or you don't add anything positive to it, what you'll find is that that first comment that you made now looks more deeper than it actually is. And that's where we are right now. The comment looks much more deeper than it actually is. I mean, not even, in fact, it looks as deep as it actually is. It's as deep as it actually is. Okay. And he's gonna out her again right here.
It's
What's
just
this?
I want to be like your number one person, but I'm not yet. It's hard for me to like accept that.
So this is information which a fair point. You want to be number one. Why are you outing that on the table? You're in front of guests. Why are you outing that on the table again? You're not protecting your partner, big bro. Yeah, you've got to be able to understand that there is a time and a season for everything underneath the sun. You got to know when and where you're going to do this kind of conversation. He didn't. He just went full pelt at her right there and right there and right now. And you saw the face of Haley. She looked like, look at Haley's face, looked like, oh, she didn't want to know nothing. And then if you look at her face, Virginia, she's smiling, but she's not laughing at it. It's not funny. It's painful. You're being outed in front of the whole group as being not great. Okay? Like, nobody wants to have that. She never said anything negative about you. She said about said, obviously, we've been going through tough times. We've had arguments. We've had these issues. It's funny because when it comes to her house and everything, she's very like, I, and her cats, I. But when it comes to the relationship, actually, she does say, we've done this, we've done that, or we keep fighting, or da-da-da-da. So she understands. Don't get it twisted. She's a smart girl. She understands. So she's intentionally done that separation by saying we when it comes to that, when talking about the relationship to the outer field. Why are you though, Erik, doing the reverse? Well, you're outing her. I want to be your number one. I don't think that's actually happened yet. To the group? Really? To the whole group? My friend, come on, big man. Come on, big man. Come on, big man. Not like that.
It's just we've known each other a month and a half.
And now it's awkward on the table, right? And she tried to save it while saying it when it's only been a month and a half. But sis, it don't make a difference. Y'all have been, courting, dating, whatever you want to call it. You've been somewhere, and you have to make a decision by next week as to whether you want to stay together or not. So are these behaviors, showing her that he wants her? No. But is she going to stay in it? More than likely, because maybe it's probably the best that she's ever had, similar to Clara. Two, also as well, they do actually get on. They do actually get on a regular basis. It's just that they have these really large pockets of moments where they move mad, And so for me, that there's some key issues. One of the key issues, I think, I don't want to go too deep in it. I'll probably do another review about it as well, is around about this area. Let me just go to it. Where Virginia's talking about their relationship. Virginia talks about their relationship and talks about how when he touches her, she just wants him to get off, right? And that the love languages are slightly different. In relationships, we all have different love languages, unfortunately, but fortunately as well, because it gives us diversity. But it means you have to learn the other person's love language in order to supply them and help them in the relationship along the way and be able to allow them to flourish in love so they can show you that same love back. So there's a conversation that happens here. Let's listen to it.
Then when she get married, and we're doing things differently. Right. Like, we are taking more time to do things,
but that's okay. Like, that's your marriage.
I'm very confused by it.
Oh, I'll show you the wrong clip, guys. There, my bad. So there was a conversation that's meant to happen. I do apologize. I was meant to put it forward to see what the guys are saying. Apologies. Yeah, let's get that forward.
Make things slower.
Yeah.
Right. It will always worry me that Ryan's never told anyone.
Oh, we're still on the wrong clip, my friends. Listen, we're still on the wrong clip. I'm putting the wrong clips up in here, innit? It's a bit of a Mazzolene. I really want to get the clip where she's talking, about how she wants to be left alone. Because when Erik touches her, she finds it frustrating that he touches her, right? I think it's run about here. So let me get it. There we go.
You know, how y'all mesh so well, we have like, you know, those differences that we're, you know, learning to see each other's views on and whatnot. So sometimes I'm like, just really, like I could maybe punch you right now, but I still love you. I promise.
And so that's one of the things, that's issues that they're facing at the moment as well. Is what I love about Virginia's honesty is that she does keep it honest, right? She'll tell you, listen, at point, and she did this on the bed. No, she did this a few weeks ago. She said, I'll punch you in the face if you keep on going the way you're going, right? And honestly, I do believe that in every relationship, we do get to points where, like I said, some days you're looking at them like, I'm getting pissed off of you. Like, I don't know whether we're going to make it or not. Like, if you ask any successful married couple, they'll tell you, I look at your face, I'm like, I don't know if we're going to make it, right? But it's like, people go through that. It's normal. You have to. Well, you don't have to, but it's normal because you spend so much time with a person, you know, it can become overwhelming at times. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need to refresh yourselves. Sometimes you need to get away from this, a place where you are becoming complacent about one another, right? You've known each other for so long, yeah, that actually when you get into the situation, you know, you almost, I don't want to say bored, but you've reached a plateau in your relationship. You're just coasting and you just need something fresh to wake you up. So I did understand what she meant by the punch in the face situation. I did understand that.
I could knock you out, but I love you. But I love you at the same time. Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, I'm like, we're married. So we're going to have the tough conversations no matter how tough they are, no matter how much we fight. Like, we're married.
And that's another thing is what I love about Erik and Virginia as well, is that they do talk about the tough things. Honestly, that's what I think will be the thing that saves them. They do actually talk about the tough things. Now, do they talk about every single tough thing? No, not at the right time anyway. But they do talk. They do have those tough conversations. We see it on the screen. That's why we don't like them together. But they do have those tough conversations. And that's normally a good steed for having a long-term relationship where you're able to discuss the really tough subjects. Whether they come to a really effective conclusion and solution is another story. And that's also another thing that can separate people and break relationships down, which is that the way that they view their relationship and some of the stuff that's happened is important. It's important because it gives you an arena to their mindsets, right? Let's play a little bit more and then we'll talk about
we do love each other, so it's like we're gonna keep pushing through them because we want the relationship, you know? So might not like him, but I definitely love him.
See, so she said, obviously, sometimes I don't like him, but I definitely love him. And so I don't see them breaking up. I'm going to be honest with you. Now, I don't like Erik's behavior. I don't like the fact that he kept on harping on about who's going to be the one that's going to cause issues. But, you know, even later on as well on the beach, you know, there was a whole segment there where he kind of went into another space where it's like, bro, like, why you keep operating from a space of fear? And that's my issue with Erik. Every single time it's fear. Listen again.
No, I think it's important. I'm not saying that.
I would just be shocked. It went differently than I thought. So it doesn't seem that important because I think I know.
Now, they're obviously here talking about D-Day, where obviously D-Day, which he doesn't like the word D-Day, which I understand he's a pilot. D-Day means something completely else for him. But they're having a discussion on the beach around about, you know, their before decision day, what their thoughts are, okay? And they start getting into a position where, you know, a conversation where she says about obviously what's he going to do on decision day. And I think it's really interesting because his answer is annoying. Like, bro, just answer the question. Listen to this.
Well, if today was decision day, what would you be expressing?
You're asking what I would tell you? Why am I going to do that when I can tell you then?
And look, at first it's a little bit of a joke. It is a bit jokey, whatever. But when you tie in all the little things that happens in the course of the day, the arguments, the madness, it's just like, bro, like, I get it. The mystery of not saying it now. But I think most couples, and maybe he's not telling it on the camera. Maybe he's not going to say it on the camera. Maybe he'll say it off camera. Maybe they will say each other that they'll choose each other off camera, right? But it's just like another one of those pieces of information we see of Erik where it's like, bro, what's the game? Like, you're outing her. You're not giving her now assurance. You're telling, you know, that this little joke about obviously don't want to say about decision day, etc., etc. Like when you add it up, you're just like, bro, like you're doing too much, bro. I beg you, relax. That's my only issue now. That's what my issue is. He's always doing. It feels like a little bit too much. Let me just speed this up a little bit as well. Get you guys to a point to listen to this part where he says he wants more from her in order to feel secure in the relationship, right? And it's like, okay, cool, bro. You want more in a relationship? That's fine. But you're going to have to be able to, bro, be able to level up your emotional appetite. And what I mean by that is make yourself palatable. Your emotions seemingly drive all your actions, where now you don't know boundaries, and the way that you talk to her sometimes is over the top. So you need to make sure your thing is palatable. Control. Yeah, you want to control her. Control yourself.
100% see why you feel that way, but I mean, I do feel that way sometimes too. It sucks.
The fight, makeup all the time kind of thing, that doesn't work out in the long run.
Very true. Very, very true. The fight makeup never does work in the long run, as he says himself. I'll do another review. I'll go a bit deeper into this particular scene, but I just wanted to just highlight a few things of their particular dating. I really do believe that if Erik doesn't rein it in, they are going to fight to a point where they will break up and they will divorce, right? Because this can't go on forever, like he just said. But it's not just that. It's like you are controlling in your behavior. You out her, you show everybody else what you're feeling. I'm not your number one, bro. Like, why are you saying these things in the open? Choose a better time to say these things, right? Anyway, guys, let me like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. Let us know your thoughts down below. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked.